Rebekah, the woman who changed a nation. Long ago, in the heart of the desert, there lived a young woman named Rebekah. She was not a princess, not famous, not rich, just an ordinary girl with an extraordinary heart. She carried herself with quiet grace and strength, and though no one yet knew it, the choices she would make would shape the destiny of a nation. Her story begins at a well, where daily chores and humble acts of service would become the stage for destiny. Even in her ordinary life, Rebekah showed a generosity and kindness that would catch the attention of a stranger, a servant on a mission to find a bride for a young man named Isaac. She arrived at the well carrying a clay jar, her movements calm and deliberate. The sun was low, casting a warm golden glow across the desert. She offered water not just to the stranger, but she ran to draw water for all of his camels, an enormous task for a young woman alone. Each trip to the well was a demonstration of strength, patience, and selfless care. And through this simple act, Rebekah's heart shone brighter than any jewelry or gift she would later receive. She gave not because anyone asked her to, but because it was who she was. Then came a question that would change her life forever. Could she leave her family, her home, everything familiar, and journey into the unknown to marry a man she had never met? Rebekah thought for only a moment before answering. Her heart was willing, and she trusted that God had a plan far greater than her comfort or fear. And so she went, leaving behind the only life she had ever known, stepping into the vast desert, guided by faith and courage. It was a journey of uncertainty, but Rebekah carried hope in her heart, trusting that she was walking in the path she was meant to take. When she finally arrived, she saw Isaac in the field, meditating quietly as the sun dipped toward the horizon. There was a hush in the air, as if the desert itself was holding its breath. And then their eyes met. For the first time, two lives intersected, two hearts connecting in a moment of quiet understanding. Rebekah did not rush, did not speak loudly or demand attention. She approached with modesty and respect, her demeanor calm, her eyes full of warmth. In that instant, she brought comfort to a man who had carried grief in his heart. Her presence healed and restored, even before words were spoken. But life did not move as quickly as Rebekah had hoped. Years passed, and she remained without children. The tent was filled with quiet longing. She wondered at times if God had forgotten her, if her dreams would ever come to fruition. Yet Rebekah did not despair. She turned inward, seeking guidance, listening for a whisper from God. And in that quiet searching, she received clarity, a sense that her life held something greater than she could see. It was a reminder that faith is often tested in the silence, and that patience can shape character as much as courage. Time passed, and Rebekah gave birth to twins, two boys, alike yet so different in spirit. Esau was strong, rugged, and adventurous, a hunter who loved the open fields. Jacob was thoughtful, quiet, and careful, a boy who preferred the stillness of home. Rebekah found herself drawn to Jacob, while Isaac's heart leaned toward Esau. The tension was quiet at first, but it would grow as the boys matured. Even in a home guided by faith, human hearts can falter. Love and preference can shape choices, and choices, in turn, shape destinies. Years later, when Isaac was old and planning to give his blessing to Esau, Rebekah remembered the sense she had received from God so many years before. Rather than waiting, she took matters into her own hands. She devised a plan guiding Jacob to receive the blessing that she believed was his by divine promise. It was a bold act, fueled by faith, yet not without flaw. Her love for Jacob and her certainty in the prophecy led her to manipulate the moment. Jacob succeeded in receiving the blessing, but the cost was high. Esau fled in anger, vowing revenge. Jacob had to leave his home, leaving his mother with a heart full of both triumph and sorrow. Rebekah's actions remind us that even those guided by faith are human. Strength and courage do not make one infallible. She had listened to God, yet acted in impatience. She had sought to protect the future, yet the path she carved was fraught with pain and separation. Her story is a delicate balance of devotion and imperfection. Through her love, wisdom, mistakes, and bold choices, God's plan moved forward, even when her actions were imperfect. Rebekah teaches us that faith is not always easy, and courage is not always without error. Even ordinary people, a young woman at a well, a mother navigating impossible choices, can change history. Her life reminds us that kindness matters, that bold choices matter, and that listening to God is as important as trusting Him to act in His timing. Rebekah's strength was her generosity, her faith, and her willingness to step into the unknown. Her weakness was impatience and favoritism, human traits that remind us she was not a heroine without flaw, but a real, relatable woman. Her story began with a simple act of giving water, and it ended with a legacy that would shape generations. Rebekah's well stands empty now in the desert. The clay jars remain, reminders of the girl who once served, loved, and trusted God. Her courage, her kindness, and her mistakes echo across time. And so her story whispers to us today. Faith is powerful. Patience is sacred. And ordinary choices, when made with love, can change the world.
If this video helped you understand the Bible more deeply, like, subscribe and share. And join us next time as we explore another woman God used in His redemptive story.